Jonah Louie and Stop the Cavalry on Radio 2. So Sarah Cox next with Tea Time, then Jo Whiley looking back at some of her best festive sessions from over the years. Tonight, you're going to hear Stormzy again from a couple of weeks ago. Stormzy doing The Night Before Christmas. Keris Matthews at 9 with The Blues Show, and then Trevor Nelson's Rhythm Nation from 10. I'll leave you with this from Rachel in Bristol. She says, so Oops Upside Your Head isn't as rare as you thought it was. Can I just ask Scott, when was the last time you heard the Birdie song? That's for tomorrow, I think. This is Radio 2 on the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker, and on 88 to 91 FM.
BBC News at 4 o'clock. This is Nikki Cardwell. 7 children across the UK are now known to have died from the bacterial infection Strep A. The latest death is a 12-year-old pupil at a school in south-east London. Most cases are mild, but the government says parents should be on the lookout for symptoms. The UK Health Security Agency's chief medical advisor, Dr. Susan Hopkins, says cases are higher than normal.
The numbers that we're seeing each week are not as high as we would normally see at the peak of the season, but they are much, much higher than we have seen at this time of year for the last 5 years. So we're concerned.
The Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer, says people are being held back by a broken model that hoards power to Westminster. The party's published a report promising sweeping changes, including abolishing the House of Lords and handing more powers to local authorities and the devolved governments. The deputy leader of the SNP, Keith Brown, says they're promises that Scotland has heard before.
I think it's the old bait and switch from the Labour Party. Much of this we've heard before. We heard from Gordon Brown in 2014 that nothing that was agreed at that time would stand in the way of the people of Scotland moving forward to independence should they choose to do so. And of course, we've now seen that blocked by all the unionist parties. The fundamentals of the UK won't change and won't benefit Scotland, even if some of these proposals were to see the light of day.
Ukraine has come under a new wave of missile attacks from Russia. Ukraine's state-owned energy firm says the electricity network has been hit, leading to some emergency power cuts. The attacks come just hours after explosions at 2 air bases in Russia killed at least 3 people. Jurors in the trial of Manchester City footballer Benjamin Mendy, who's accused of rape, have retired to consider their verdicts. The 28-year-old and his friend, 41-year-old Louis Saha Maturi, are facing a number of charges of sexually assaulting young women, which they both deny. The Duke of Sussex says there's a dirty game with leaking and planting of stories within the royal family. In a new trailer for Prince Harry and Meghan's Netflix series, he also talks about the pain and suffering of the women who marry into the institution. Our royal correspondent Charlotte Gallagher says the family will be waiting to see what else is in Thursday's first episode.
I think they're going to be really nervous because this is just the trailer. It's an explosive trailer, but you imagine they're going to be saving some other revelations for the series. It's a nightmare, really, for the royal family just before Christmas. They want to be focusing on King Charles's coronation coming up, community events they're doing.
The Met Office is warning of severe cold weather across the UK this week. Temperatures could fall to -6 Celsius in places. A level 3 alert will be in place from Wednesday evening until Monday morning. And Bob McGrath, one of the original cast members of Sesame Street, has died at the age of 90. The actor appeared on the children's TV show for nearly 50 years, playing friendly music teacher Bob Johnson. The show's production company said he embodied the melodies of Sesame Street like no one else. With the sport now, here's Shojo Saka.
Good afternoon. England's cricketers have produced one of their greatest ever victories away from home after beating Pakistan by 74 runs in the first test in Rawalpindi. Following a brave declaration yesterday, England set Pakistan a target of 343 to chase down, and on the final day today, bowled them out on an unhelpful pitch with just 8 minutes of light remaining. Following a dismal run of recent results, Wales Rugby have dismissed their head coach Wayne Pivac and replaced him with his predecessor Warren Gatland. Gatland will take charge of next year's Six Nations and Rugby World Cup. At the Men's Football World Cup, there are 2 more matches in the round of 16 today. Japan are playing Croatia. Later, Brazil will face South Korea. And the legendary tennis coach Nick Bollettieri, who helped develop superstars such as Andre Agassi and Maria Sharapova, has died at the age of 91. That's the BBC News and Sport. It's 4 minutes past 4.
Shojo, Nikki, thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you Sarah Cox.
And a thank you very much to Mr. Scott Mills. I said oops upside your head.